Welcome to Supercandidate's video tutorials. In this section, we will discuss how to create an exam. Supercandidate makes it very easy for someone to create one. First, go to Exam Administration, then click on Create Exam. This page is where you set the properties of your exam. First, type a name in for the exam. It is wise to name something that relates to the exam. Here we will call this exam Teacher Evaluation. Next, you add the exam code. This is the code you will supply to all exam takers, so make sure that it's something that's related to this exam. We will call it Teacher. Then you see two option boxes. The first asks you if you want to offer the questions in random order. The second asks if you want to offer weighting to the question. Weighting is appropriate when certain questions will bear more relevance to your evaluation when viewing reports. Here I will select Random, and I'll also include Weighting. Next, you add a pass mark for the exam. I will set this to 70%. Then, how long you want this exam to go for. Here I will put in 20 minutes. Next, you can decide where to send the exam results. If you're working in HR, you may wish to send the exam results to the department that requested the exam. So here I will add in the place I want it to go to. Next, you will see Enter email to send notification when specified number of students has passed the exam. Sometimes, exam creators like to be free from their desk, so Supercandidate can actually notify you when a number of people have actually passed your exam requirements, which is great if you want to be free from your desk. Typically, for example, if you are a busy employment agency, you could trigger this notification to your smartphone while out of the office with clients. This makes you efficient and your solution to getting results smarter. In this occasion, I'm just going to write the same email because this is just a test tutorial. You'll see below the notification area, you can enter the number of candidates that must pass. I'll put 4. An important point: once your desired candidates have passed your test, you are sent the notification. To set the notification again, you have to reset this number. To do this, you need to use the passes to date to identify the number of people who have already passed and then add on the new number of people to pass before being notified again. For example, if 4 people passed and I received notification, in order to start this again for the next 4 passes, so if I wanted another 4 passes here, I would then increase this to 8. That's 4 plus 4. I would know how many to pass, or should I say to increase, based on the passes to date, because once this 4 had been passed, you'd see 4 here. This is actually shown in important notification criteria. Please note that this is important because if you don't set the number here correctly, based on what you see here, you will not receive further notifications. The final part of the exam profile is whether you want to send out certificates to students. You click here to do this. Each student is sent a unique serial number with a certificate. Once you click submit, you can now begin to add questions to your test. You can change any of these details later in exam administration by clicking exam administration and then clicking on edit your profile for that exam. So here. Once you click submit, you can now begin to add questions to your test. First, you select the question type. There are several in Supercandidate. We use the industry standard types that 99% of the industry actually use to save you confusion with peripheral name types which essentially point to the same thing. So let's start with the choices. The most common is multiple choice. Once selected, it will give you the number of options you want to offer for choice of answers. Normally this is set to 4, but you can set up to 6. Multiple choice questions are used to identify one correct answer out of a possible selection. The second option is yes or no, also referred to as true or false. Yes or no answers, like the option states, gives you the best out of 2 choices. Third option is checkbox, which offers the ability to choose from 1 to 10 options. Often, if our clients are trying to review an answer that requires more than one answer for the question, the checkbox is used. The next type of question is fill in the blanks. This is one of 3 answer types. You allow your test taker to type their own text into your answer. For fill in the blanks, you can have up to 4 blanks for a question. Often beyond that number of blanks actually blurs the answered response, so we stick to a maximum of 4. Then you have the short answer type. This is where you place in your question and ask the exam taker to put in their response. A typical use our clients use this for is when you are trying to establish if the test taker responds correctly. For example, look at the picture and type the 3 stages in correct order required to set the device. Here, the short answer type, you'd put your question in and then you'd put the relevant answers, and they have to respond in that same identical order to get the question right. Finally, we have the essay type. This type of question, you are asking for the test taker to leave an open-ended answer. Please bear in mind, when you set an open-ended question, Supercandidate will notify you on each occasion when someone takes that essay question, so that you can log online to your account to review the open-ended answer and decide if they have answered correctly or not. All other question types are automatically evaluated by Supercandidate, so use essay question type when you need a detailed explanation of the candidate's answer. An example of this is with a psychometric firm that uses Supercandidate essay questions. They use it when they want to see a response to a video question where they are trying to evaluate the candidate's emotions. These are the different question types which can basically get you to complete virtually any type of exam that you wish to set. So we now have seen how to set the properties of an exam and also what question types an exam can have. Now let us see how to set up some of these question types. First, let us explore the multiple choice question. Once selected, choose the number of options you'd like to add. The question now loads for you to populate. First, type the question you'd like to ask. For example, here for teacher evaluation exam, we want to find out what Sankor is. Next, you will see two media options, upload media or add URL. You can select one or the other for the question. Please note, once selected, you will not be able to change the media option, but you will be able to edit the media option. In this example, I will add media, and for another question type in this tutorial, I will show you how to add video to your question. Click on Upload Media option, then click Browse to select your media. Here you can see just a handful of media types you can add in Supercandidate. One of the major breakthrough points of Supercandidate compared to other suppliers is the way it allows you to offer multiple media types without worrying if they will work on the end user's device. You can add many types of media to a Supercandidate exam, even if the person taking the test does not support the media you are including in the question using Supercandidate's artificial intelligence. For example, many phones have voice recorders, but all of different formats. Once loaded into Supercandidate, it will take care of finding the correct features so that your media plays on the majority of PCs, Macs, smartphones, tablets, and even smart TVs. Another example, say if you have a Microsoft Word document you want to add to a question, e.g. a project plan. Again, if your test taker does not have Microsoft Word, Supercandidate will make it viewable to them on their device. As this is a demonstration, we will just select a picture and add it. Next, you will see 4 fields. Here is where you can add your answers for the question. So let's type in some answers. Now another important point, whenever you write questions or answers and you wish to put a quotation in, use the single quote such as this, not this. Reason being, if you use this particular quotation, Supercandidate will not allow that part of the question to show for security reasons. So if you need to put a quote, use the single quotation marks, like so. Okay, now that we have placed the possible answers, we'll use the drop-down box to select the correct answer. For this question, the selection is actually A, whiteboard software. Finally, before we submit the question, we can add a weighting to this using this drop box. Now, let's look at checkbox option. Again, let's select 4 options. When this style of question loads, we are looking to allow the test taker 2 or more options to get the question right. So here you enter your question. For example, I will say history can mean 2 things. You can add media, like in multiple choice, but in this demonstration, I will leave that blank. Then put in your possible options. Unlike the multiple choice, we do not use a drop-down list to select the appropriate answer. We checkbox the answer we want correct here. Those checked will represent correct answers for this checkbox question. Like before, we can add weight. And finally, to include this question in your exam, you click Submit. Okay, we have seen these 2 question types. Yes, no is self-explanatory, so I've left that one in this tutorial. Let's move on to the other question types. I will select fill in the blanks. And for this, I'll select 2 options representing 2 blanks I need to fill, and also these will be the 2 the candidate needs to fill. As this is a fill in the blank question, a typical practical use of this could be to add in a video or document for the user to read, after which they can fill in the blanks. So for this question, I will select a YouTube video. Remember, you can shoot video on virtually every smart device, such as your phone, and load it to YouTube, which is then available for you to use in Supercandidate. Great for those what happened next questions, if you're testing someone's real knowledge on a speciality and how much practical knowledge they may have. For this example, I will just add details about Jamaican coffee. Here in YouTube, you copy the URL, then you paste it into the URL field. So now I've copied it from YouTube, I just paste it here. So you can do right click, paste. This will activate to your test takers in most devices. It is important that you put the exact URL here, and if there is a HTTPS, such as like so, you need to remove the S in order for this to work correctly in Supercandidate? This is actually discussed in your YouTube criteria. You can see, like before, it shows the question input. However, notice carefully, it asks you to put portions of your question before and after the blanks. For example, here I want to write, coffee was introduced into Jamaica by Nicholas Laws, who was the first governor of Jamaica. The answers I want the test taker to answer is Nicholas Laws and governor. So I put, in the first field, coffee was introduced into Jamaica by. Then I put my first blank answer, which is Nicholas Laws. Then I put in here, after the answer I want from them, who was the first, and the second choice answer I want from them is governor. And finally, to finish off my sentence, I put in Jamaica. Okay, so what we have is coffee was introduced to Jamaica by their answer Nicholas Laws, who was the first, their answer governor, in Jamaica. So when a person takes the test, they will see something like this. If they had answered correctly, they will receive the marks for this question type. Again, you can add weighting to the question. Obviously, to add this question to your exam, you click Submit. Okay, now let's look at the next question type, which is a short answer. Here again, I'll select two possible options. Like fill in the blanks, often when you want people to identify specifics, use this question type. For example, you could add an image and ask the person to state what the picture represents. From the picture, name the character and what species of animal it is. That could be the question. You will need to put your answer choices in the correct order here. So if I write that question in, and then put my correct choices. I say cat. I can call this, say, shy. And species is a cat. Again, if the test taker answers correctly in that particular order, so they answer first shy and then they answer cat, they would have answered correctly. And how they would put it in, it's actually given in the test itself. It will say to put a comma between the first answer and the second answer, and it will tell them how many answers there are. Like before, you can select the weight and submit. Okay, the final type of question, essay type. So in this section, when you are creating an essay type question, These are typically used for open-ended questions, and often our clients use video where they want to ask questions about the video itself and try to get a response which is open-ended. Basically, like before, you'll insert your question, you'd upload your video, so if you're using video, select await if you want to, and hit submit. The person will do the question, but once the question is done, you as the exam administrator will receive a notification that you have someone who's done your test and you need to go online to evaluate it. So typically what would happen is after they had completed and you'd been notified, you would come across from your question and you'd select the analysis of that exam. So for example, imagine this was the exam. You click analysis and then you'd see the question, which is an essay type, here. Initially all answers are incorrect because you have to view and then verify the answer. So click here on this X for incorrect student and you'll see the names of all the students who did question. You select the name and you read the actual essay question, their response. Obviously this is just an example. If you believe it's correct, you click this button and this then automatically evaluates and updates for your reporting methods in Supercandidate to the correct section. When you actually set your questions, you can edit and review your questions at any time, including media you added. To do this, you just go to Exam Administration and then you click on the button to view questions and then you click Edit Question. For example, on this one here. You can edit the question based on how it was set originally. So this was a yes or no. You can listen to the media that you had, or if you had an image, you could click on the image and it will show the image. And that's basically how you would edit the question. With Supercandidate, you can also add a Premade Exam. These are all created by actual certified specialists in their respective fields. These exam creators have made these exams based on real-life working experience. So in using the exams, it is as if you are the specialist offering the exam without having to have any knowledge of that field, ideal for employment agencies. For example, if you're offering a job role where you wish to test Spanish skills, and you select our voice-based Spanish language. Now this can quickly identify if the test taker has a required knowledge of that language skill to do the job, rather than just trusting judgment on a resume. To create a pre-made exam is simple. From Exam Administration, go here and select the category you wish like. Here I'll select computers. And then select your subcategory. Here I'll select software. Then you can select obviously any particular exam that you wish to add. And you would just basically say C++. You literally just click on this and automatically load into your exam, as you can see here. You can view the questions here. You can edit the questions. You can delete questions. You can add your own questions. Basically, the choices are endless. Now, after you create an exam, you need to give your test takers the exam code associated with that exam. And also, you need to know where to send your candidate to take the exam. In Supercandidate, go to Menu and then click Candidate. Once in this page, scroll down to the Exam Center and click on it. Here is where your candidate enters their details and hits Submit to start the exam. The exam can be taken on many platforms, including PC, Mac, Android, iPhone, smartphone, and smart TVs, so access is truly universal. Here are some examples of tests being taken on the PC, on a smartphone, on a tablet.